All right, we are live here, January 20th, in this deep hole of snow.
Snowpocalypse.
Well, so I bet you down in Columbus, you guys didn't get anything, did you? It rained the whole time, didn't it?
It rained most of the day yesterday, but it finally came in last night. We got about 3-4 inches ish.
Yeah, I saw the cameras this morning down there. Yeah.
No, here I'm gonna post what Mike, you posted earlier today that basically showed my driveway, what my driveway looked like as well. A ton of, dude, it took me a couple hours to shovel the driveway with Jane. It was like, what the hell? But yeah, no, it's crazy because everybody just like 15 minutes south of me in Canton got hardly anything. Hardly anything at all. I'm like, damn, couldn't that line have moved up a little more? I didn't really feel like shoveling today.
Dude, I didn't think it was going to stop today. I mean, and it had, for 2 hours, the skies were blue, and I was like, sweet, we made it. No, that was like in between because I opened the garage door at the warehouse 2 hours later, and I can't see the street across the way. I'm like, F me.
Yep. Well, and they warned, I saw yesterday, they warned us about that after the big thing was going to hit, we were going to get lake effect on and off, and I thought they were full of crap. But most of the day, it's been snowing. Like, I shoveled my driveway, and it looks like, I don't know, I probably have another half inch on my driveway.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, but no.
Good times.
Oh, of course. It's living in Ohio.
It's living in Ohio.
Can we make a Florida chapter, please?
We really haven't had much of a winter, so it's kind of hard to bitch, but I'm going to anyways.
Yeah, oh, of course, definitely. And hello, everybody that's watching. Thank you for coming on.
What's up, everyone?
Welcome to the new night.
Yes, new night.
Way. Nobody invited you.
Sundays at 8 or 8:10, depending on who needs to eat.
hey, I gotta mention. I want to mention something. If you're gonna miss us on Tuesday nights or Friday nights, what you ought to do is on Tuesday night and Friday night, head over to HeartlandDefenders.com and check out the Defender Chronicles. Sorry, the Defender Chronicles, because for the next few weeks we're going to be posting there on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So
nice. Yes.
Get your read on, get your learn on.
And I have read some of those, and they are definitely good material.
So it's going to be it's going to be articles and videos, or is that strictly going to be a video?
The Defender Chronicles are just going to be articles.
Okay.
And we're working on setting up a videography location there on the website to where you can go and see some review videos or whatnot. And you never know. I may try to play with the website a little bit and see if I can actually post videos up in the blog location.
Nice.
You go.
Never know.
No, and that's I'll be covering cat versus do I want to say off-brand name tourniquets as well. I don't know if I'm going to do video or anything like that yet. I'll figure it out. I might do some video since I am the video guy.
Well, what just got posted up there? Idealism versus realism. I think one that just recently got posted up there. Matter of fact, I think it got posted today.
Did it? Nice. Yeah, I haven't been on yet today.
No, I have not. When did that post?
John.
Today?
Our training officer.
Oh.
Do what?
I must have missed it. I thought it was on there earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I missed it.
You missed it.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay.
It's that snow mindset. It's that cabin fever. You forgot what you should have known.
I shouldn't even have left the house today, and I did, and I don't know why. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, today was a bad day. I mean, I didn't even get to leave the house, but you know what? The snow. Ugh, anyways, it was fun to watch everybody get stuck.
Oddly enough, I didn't see anybody stuck on my way.
No.
It was pretty. I was kind of surprised, but as mostly people with SUVs and 4-wheel drives and stuff out. There weren't a whole lot of. Although I did see a fun thing. You know, like I told you, Jeremy, the guy at our warehouse had just plowed that one path. So there's another company that parks like the monster dump trucks.
Yeah.
So obviously he kind of wanted to make his own little space. So as I was pulling into our spot to get out of his way, he came barreling down and I watched him, and he took that thing and did a big giant donut in that fucking dump truck. It was hilarious.
That is funny.
I mean, that snow was, he must have shot snow 40 feet.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, it was, yeah, he was having a good time because there's nothing in the parking lot. So no. I was going to attempt it, but I'm like, the little Kia might not appreciate that so much.
No, especially you probably have traction control in your little Kia, don't you?
Well, whatever. It was fun though. If I hadn't left the house today, the snow probably would have been fun, but leaving was bad.
Well, I was telling Jacob earlier, one of the guys down the street, Jane, just said something about it. People with Mustangs are stupid. They haven't touched our driveway yet with a plow. And this neighbor brought out, I don't know, Mustang, Charger, who knows, whatever it was. I wasn't really paying attention. I was laughing more that he had it out in the snow. It's deeper than what my car clears, so I can only imagine how his car was handling it. And, yeah, he was trying to get up the road and had to back up, and then tried it again, got a little farther, backed up. You know, it was one of those. I would have just given up.
Yeah, well, rear wheel does pretty good in the snow like that when it hasn't been plowed.
Well, of course.
Works very bad.
But nah, so Brett, we're doing pretty good. How are you doing?
What's up, Brett, Jacob, Dolly, Jane, Mike?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's very
nice. You got a few viewers tonight, huh?
Yeah. I think my friend, I don't know if she's on still, but my friend Becky or George are on too.
Yeah, I saw a couple people pop up. And yeah, Jane's harassing you about being on. You're here.
I am. Yeah, I'm still alive.
Oh, yeah.
Just a giant D-bag, that's all.
Oh. Oh, goodness. No, wait, which way were you pointing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I
thought I saw some accusation right there, but...
Oh, yeah. But no, other than the snow, what else? Oh, yes, the Pelosi thing.
Oh, dude, that was for... The memes out of it were worth it.
Oh,
alone.
So worth it. Her getting her plane canceled. Oh, that was great. But then one of the things that came out of it that was really funny is it was her, 8 other... I don't even know. They weren't congressmen. They were a couple other Congress people and
people, yeah.
But staff. Then there were like 79 family members that were on the bus for the plane too. I'm like, why the fuck are we paying for them?
I know what was okay. So I saw a few of those posts. Did anybody actually look and confirm that? I mean, is that fake news or is that true? There was that many family members.
That was what was said from what I've seen to say, hey, look at how many people you inconvenienced by canceling our trip. And oops.
Good. Because if we're paying for a military plane for 93 of her family, they can all kiss my ass and stay home.
Oh, I know, right? Definitely.
Unless I'm going to start getting rides in Air Force One or something.
Hey, the fact that I've seen the memes about her being grounded was hilarious.
Oh, dude.
Like, come on, really? Do you know how pissed she's got to be?
Oh, she's got to be human. I mean, but if they were her family members, how embarrassing was it when they got on the bus and they were like, oh, sorry. Trump canceled your flight.
Nice. Yeah. They're like, what the hell?
See, I knew that guy was a dick.
Wait.
Oh, man. Whatever.
Mike Palmer on YouTube. Why can't I find Dinner with the Defenders on Facebook? You should. Well, it's on
the... be able to.
Yeah, you should be able to find all the videos on the Facebook page. On the Heartland Defenders page.
Oh, speaking of, not to get, we're on Why was this is the part I was confusing, and tell me if I read this right. Was she taking her family to Afghanistan? Wasn't that one of the stops?
Yes, there were like 4 or 5 stops, wasn't there? And yeah.
Who the F vacations in Afghanistan? I'm just saying.
You know, it was
those who don't
those,
like the winter, apparently.
It was probably one of those like, hey, we got to stop in the bad part of town before we get to go to the good part of town thing. I don't know. Just stay with Secret Service and you'll be okay.
Hey, Grandma, I'm going to stay on the plane, you crazy bat.
Where's lock the door button on my plane seat?
Yeah, I just that part was like, whatever, you know. Hey, kids, have you ever seen Afghanistan?
Steve?
No, you crazy old woman, and I don't want to.
Steve McDonald on YouTube asked if we think that he purposely waited to the last minute to cancel it.
Oh, I think yes.
I think he was looking at his clock and had somebody reporting where the bus was at all times, and he's like, okay, go ahead and tell him.
You know what that was?
God, you guys are some dicks.
Yeah, that was icing the kicker at the end of a football game. That's right? What that was, and it worked.
Uh-huh. Oh.
And it worked.
Yeah, that was funny as can be. I was like, when I first saw it, I'm like, is this real? What is going on?
I didn't know. I didn't even know he could do that. But I guess as commander in chief, I guess that was a move he pulled there. I'm assuming.
Hey, and then there's these things going around now too that if they stay more than 30 days of closed, that there's a possibility that he can remove and replace people, which I thought was kind of weird.
Really?
Really?
This is what
I need a fact check. I need a fact check on that.
I haven't been able to fact check it yet, so please somebody tell me if that's real or not. If not, but I saw it the other day and I'm like, that could get scary though. Like,
well, what I'm curious about is, so he hasn't pulled the trump card, so to speak, on declaring, in a state of emergency.
Yes.
I'm curious what his play is there. You know, because he could get everybody paid by doing that, but there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason he's not playing that card, and that one I haven't figured out yet.
Maybe he's just trying to keep it under wraps for now. I don't know.
Because I figured that's what that press conference was going to be at 3:00 on Saturday, but instead it was like, hey, you know what? I'm willing to sit at the table and break bread, guys, but if you guys are too big of assholes, then I guess we can't. Because that's what that was.
Oh, of course that's what that was. That was hilarious too.
So because I thought for sure that's what he was going to do. He's, hey, you know what, since the Democrats, don't give a crap if you can feed your family, I'm going to go ahead and do this so you guys can get your checks. But he didn't. And I thought that was interesting.
Well, and I've seen a lot of the, the petition sites. What's the big one? The .org, the gov.org one.
Change.org?
Yes, change.org. There's a couple on there where there's some big petitions going around with a lot of signatures about saying how let's not allow congressmen to get paid when the
yeah.
I was like, damn, and there's a lot of signatures.
Yeah, well, who is it that the new governor in Florida was talking about that? I think it was the governor. Isn't it Scott that's in Florida?
I don't know.
He was talking about that, wanting to present that or something to his Senate or something that, and I don't know if he's doing it talking like on a state level, like if they're not working, then they shouldn't get paid.
Right. If they're not working, why do they get paid?
I think that's an outstanding idea. Outstanding.
Let's give the man a round of applause.
Right.
But then again, it's probably the lobbyists paying for everything right now for him anyways, even if they didn't get paid. So
yeah.
But
I mean, yeah. Well, and that's What was it I was watching earlier this week? Since you hit the word lobby, a friend of mine's stream was on earlier this week, and they were talking about the new laws coming up for the medical marijuana cards and your Second Amendment rights. And they're really saying, one of the guys that helped pass a medical thing that could happen here in Ohio, he actually said one of the things they were thinking of it as in a kid's form of, hey, look, this kid that has cancer, it'd be great for them to be able to take CBD oil or some kind of medical marijuana, something to make them feel better. They said they never were thinking about the adults and the people with, PTSD and fibromyalgia and stuff like that. He's like, but he goes, the problem is right now, if you want to still conceal carry, do not get your medical marijuana license until they get figured out.
They take it back, right?
Well, they don't. But
how does it work?
But it can be a 5th-degree felony if you get caught. Even if you just have your CHL license and you get caught having medical marijuana, your license on you, or even a small dose of it, that's a 5th-degree felony right now.
I'll keep my thoughts out of the video because it might give the politicians hell of good ideas. But there's a way you can manipulate the system to where anybody who has that medical marijuana license, you have their address and their location. You can then go knock on their door and find out if they have firearms.
Well, exactly. Well, the other thing is that they said Ohio did their due diligence and made it a Class 2 drug compared to what it was with the federal. It's Class 1. It's considered a Class 1.
Okay.
So the Class 1 is what makes it a felony. So federally, it's still against the law, but with Ohio doing their state law, that's the same thing California is looking at problems with. Its dispensaries are getting busted by the federal level, not the local level.
Right.
So
it's the same thing in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're all still hoarding cash.
Correct.
Although I thought a bunch of them got together and started their own credit union or something.
Something like that.
Just not federally insured. That's all.
Right.
But they're probably like, it's okay. We'll make more green and then make more green.
Correct. Can't stop them all. Well, and that's
no.
Ohio. One of their first dispensaries came open in Akron this past week too. From what I saw, I kept seeing on the news, and I was like, really? But since we're on the subject, I think Akron has one of those dispensaries.
Stopped in.
Uh-oh.
Well then, man, I should stock up on Twinkies and Doritos and start heading down there.
Right? Or there's that meme I keep seeing of the Girl Scout. They're selling cookies out in front of a dispensary and shoot like 50 cases or something in a day.
I was just going to say, them Girl Scouts going to make bank standing out in front of that place.
That would be freaking brilliant.
Sandusky's is open.
Somebody will do that. Somebody will do that.
Let's see the system.
I might. I'll just go buy all the Girl Scout cookies and stand in front of a dispensary and be like, "Want a box?
$20,
$10,
baby.
$10."
So they're cross-referenced, John? John Michaels over on YouTube said that the systems are cross-referenced. When you get your medical marijuana, the background check reveals you have a CHL. But does that mean they automatically take it away then?
Yeah, so what do they do? That's curious.
Now, I know on the medical marijuana side of it is if you file for a firearm, it specifically asks you in the checklist, are you using illegal drugs or... Canton has one for sure, yeah. But I mean, I know for a fact that the gun registry, the background check to buy a firearm asks you if you're using marijuana or other illegal drugs. So you kind of have to check.
And they
yes.
don't find it amusing when you put none of your business. Just saying.
No, they don't, and they won't give you your gun either.
No sense of humor whatsoever.
We'll type Nunya on there, and they're like, what? None your business. Oh, crap.
Yeah, so wait a minute. So when you get the card, I'm curious then, when you get the card, if you apply for the card, do they go ahead and let you get the card and then take away your CHO, or
not sure. I mean, because if you have I guess if you're getting the card, you're admitting you're gonna go smoke marijuana, but does that? 100%...
No, I just wanted to look cool around my friends and have the card.
Right. John says he thinks the CHL would be revoked then if you go do it. So until otherwise noted, if you want to still have your concealed carry, do not go file for your medical marijuana. Or if your health is, if you really need the medical marijuana, you may want to think twice about having a concealed carry. Maybe have a family member carry. I don't know.
Or, well, can you open carry then?
Oof.
That's a damn good question.
Because it doesn't say you can't own a firearm, does it?
I think that is the case.
Oh,
I think you cannot have a firearm, hence why it's on the background check when you buy a firearm.
Yeah, but the background check says, do you use illegal substances,
and they do
such as
state marijuana?
Well, but what if marijuana is not illegal?
If it's not illegal, then they should.
That question.
But in the background check, a federal background check. So technically, yes, it would still be illegal because federally it's still illegal.
Okay, so then are you saying that as soon as the federal government de-illegalizes marijuana use, whether for medical or for recreational, it doesn't matter. But
I don't think
when that happens, is all the states going to go, okay, do whatever you want?
Well, it'll probably take a long time just because of the fact that, think about it as an employment standpoint. At this point, medical is still, if you are medically using marijuana, it's legal in Ohio. But if you still test positive in Ohio during a drug test while at work, you can still be fired.
Yeah, even if it's medical, right?
Even if you have a medical card, your job has that thing of, hey, we can just still fire you.
Yeah.
We had a bit of a discussion about this at one of our staff meetings, and the statement from my supervisor was there's no system built right now to test the level of THC in your system.
Actually, there is.
So unlike alcohol, where there is a level designed system that you have a certain point.
There is
I thought with hair follicles you could test.
And a few years ago,
but your job doesn't go and pluck your hair and wait a week or two to get that result back. They make you pee in a cup or spit on a stick.
So there is a pee in the cup.
So there's no cheap way to check.
No, there is a pee in the cup way, but it's expensive. From what I've been told, a friend of mine had to go to what you would call a pay and stay, got in trouble. Instead of going to actual jail, it was like you paid to stay there and it was jail, but you could go to work and stuff like that still.
Okay.
But what they would do is when you entered, they would, if you were using drugs, they would do the initial P test. But if your P test ever, he said that there were guys that got thrown out of the pay and stay and got thrown directly into jail because their P tests second or third time around, would come up with more THC in it than the original. And so there is a P test that does tell you how much THC is in your system.
Yeah.
You probably are going to end up seeing that kind of a situation where it's not illegal to be able to drink and have a job, but it is illegal to be drunk at your job. So
it is?
They'll probably make that system up for the marijuana issue and be like, well, it's not illegal for you to smoke, but it is illegal for you to be stoned at work.
Yeah, right.
So if they're gonna have like on the side of the road, instead of you gotta blow into it, you gotta keep a steady stream while they measure, or
I don't know.
I have a feeling that's a let's go back to the station kind of test. I don't know if they're going to let you pee in a cup on the side of the road. I think you get in trouble for peeing on the side of the road anyways.
Oh, technically speaking.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is the marijuana issue is way bigger than any one of us could ever think it should be. And it's going to get drug out. It's going to get drug out, beat up, banged around. To me, it's almost worse than prohibition. Prohibition said you can't drink alcohol. Well, okay, we outlaw alcohol. It makes alcohol a criminal act. You get criminals from it. They revoke prohibition, and that criminal element changes their course. They do stuff other than that.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them, yes. There's still
moonshiners. There are still moonshiners there.
There's still shiners, yes. But you notice there's a lot more bar-coded moonshine anymore than there is just finding Joe Bob out in the woods making some fucking moonshine.
Yeah, it is harder and harder to find the Joe Bob in the woods make you go blind moonshine compared to...
Because they're all getting old and dying.
I mean, you walk into a store like that, you got Great Smoky Mountain moonshine. I mean, go to freaking Tennessee, anywhere in Tennessee.
What's up, Brian?
You can walk 3-4 feet and find a different store giving you free samples of moonshine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Distilled by the same people that was distilling it in the woods, but now they're in big factories.
Yeah. Well, there was that whole, the Moonshiner TV show that one guy went from being an illegal guy to he has his own brand and it's national now. I was like, holy crap.
Oh, hey.
There was 2 of them, actually.
Yeah. But I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, it's going to be the same concept, but it's actually, in my mind, it's worse than that. Because there's still, everybody drank alcohol. Then they outlawed it. They then unoutlawed it. I know that's not a word, but it's funny. But with marijuana, there's such a bad stigma to marijuana use. There's such a bad stigma of what it does and where it affects and what it does to the people around you and everything else, that they're going to try to nitpick every part of it instead of just making it not illegal again. Or
my thought has always been, because regardless of what other people say, if my opinion on it, if you're going to legalize it, then alcohol, personally, I think DUIs are way too lenient.
Yes.
Because if you're out there in a DUI and you're on your 7th and you're still driving, that's kind of an issue. Okay. So I think if you're going to legalize marijuana, then you up the charge on drinking and driving under the influence. Mm-hmm. Because if you can do it legally, then stay at home or stay at your buddy's house and stay off the damn road.
Right.
I don't care who does. I don't give a crap, honestly, what you do, but don't get on the road and endanger my life. That's all I care.
Right.
Correct.
Otherwise, I don't care.
Yeah, no, and I'm the same way. Whatever you do, as long as you ain't hurting anybody else.
Yeah, then go ahead.
That sounds surely that sounds libertarian to me.
Oh, yeah. Wait, nope.
I'll do me. I'll do mine. You do yours. I ain't gonna screw with your shit. You don't screw with my shit. We'll live it alone.
Right. Same thing with all the other things.
I'm a little, yeah.
I mean, there's some harder stuff that I could do without being around, But
what makes my head hurt is we're sitting here debating marijuana use, right?
Yeah.
We're sitting here talking about RCHLs if we went out and got a medical license for marijuana.
Well, that's what
but you can go right now and search, and they're literally opening up centers for heroin addicts to go in and do heroin.
Yeah, well, they're asking
safely
for they're giving out free what are the plunger, not the whatever they are,
Narcan?
The injectors for Narcan. Yeah. And they're saying, please, and these commercials, and I'm sorry, but the commercials where the addicts are on there going, please carry Narcan because it saved my life because somebody had it. And I'm like, so you're expecting me to go get free Narcan, which, by the way, why is it free? And, stuff for people that have diabetes is not free. Because diabetes is an illness. Just saying.
Well,
I'm just gonna say this: we start going down this road, it's gonna get ugly because I'm I'm very familiar with this whole subject, and my opinions run deep. So I'm just
hey, I'm okay. That's
hey, that's why we're here, though, right?
I'm just putting I'm just gonna put the warning label out now, because if we're going down this road, then we're gonna go down that road.
Let's let the comments talk. Let's let the comments dictate whether we go down this road or not.
Well,
because I dealt with this in my own family. So, as far as Narcan's concerned, personally, I think they should just fill Narcan with cyanide and F them all, because I hate this, and I know there's probably nobody. The person I was thinking is not on, but I know they get all butthurt about it, and oh, but you don't understand, and I didn't ever want to do it, and bullshit.
At some point, you made that decision. It was your decision.
If you have made that choice, then you know what? Sorry, F you.
And I was going to say it in a nicer way.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But like the commercials I've been hearing about the Narcan, and please carry Narcan because it has saved my life. Why is it my responsibility to fix your bad decision? I mean,
I look at it this way. If you're on your third round of Narcan, there's a fucking problem. Okay?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And I'm not even talking third round of Narcan in one hit, where it's like they had to hit you 3 times with Narcan to get your ass up. I'm talking if it's the third time in a month you've been hit with Narcan, you got a fucking problem. We should not continue aiding you with your fucking problem.
Correct.
Oh yeah. Well, I know somebody, close. They had their third Narcan in less than 24 hours.
Oh my God! 3 separate incidences.
At a certain
Yes.
point, you have to make the bad shit painful, or people will just keep doing it. And instead, for whatever reason, our society has turned into this sugar plums and lollipops group of people, where the bad shit's okay for you. We'll just help you along. And the good shit is frowned upon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Well, and you can go
poverty.
Right.
I mean, to break the subject apart, you've got poverty. We hand out welfare like it's candy. It's continuously pumped into the system. There's no shutoff. There's no requirement to maintain it. Nothing. It's been begged for years.
Mm-hmm.
It's been begged for years for drug tests. None.
No, they don't.
Yeah, Mike Eamon's Mike Eamon just posted Narcan's free, but what is that? The EpiPen is freaking $300.
Oh yeah.
Why is that EpiPen free?
4 to 6.
Oh yeah, I've seen the prices go up and down on that, and on some other medications. It's like people don't choose to have diabetes. I mean, some do by their diet, whatever. Some don't. I mean,
what are you trying to say?
Hey, I'm not saying anything bad about who eats what, because I stuffed the shit out of my face. Oh, is this an item allowed to cause? I don't know.
Dude, I knew a guy that was I know an active duty soldier when we were over in Korea, 22, 23 years old, walked into the hospital one day complaining of a stomach ache or whatever, walked out with a fucking manual insulin pump, one of those automatic insulin pumps, had class 1 or whatever diabetes, just like that, hit him. Ooh. He was never going to be the same again.
Damn.
So you can't sit here and look at me and say, well, it's only because you stuff your face full of cheeseburgers and donuts.
No, I'm not saying that for everybody. I'm saying that for some people.
There's legitimate people out there that life just kind of smacks them upside the head with a shitty fucking hand.
Oh, for sure.
But again, I go back to the make it painful concept. You get handed a shitty hand, nobody seems to give a shit. But if you've made shit choices your whole life, and now you can't hold a job for more than 15 minutes, or you decide to stuff your veins full of whatever freaking shit you can buy for $20 from the guy down the street, we have to all take care of you now.
No. Well, it goes to that whole, You spend your whole life fighting your kid not touching the stove until the kid touches the stove and realizes, oh crap, this is hot. I'm not going to ever touch a stove again. Same thing. I mean, yeah, some people may accidentally pull the whole damn pot of water on top of them.
Well,
but
they'll learn.
They'll learn, or it just, again, it's the thinning out of the population anyways.
But do you think,
isn't it really?
Think about your analogy just now, Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think with that analogy that society right now as a whole, I'm not talking individual, I'm not talking just you, me, Mike, or the handful of people that we know. Society as a whole right now. Yes, you spend your whole life teaching your kid not to touch the stove. They decide to touch the stove. They find out it's hot. You run and get the burn cream. You fix their hand within 20 minutes with this burn cream. Now they're happy again. Mm-hmm. Then they go and touch the stove again. Instead of now saying you did it twice, that's my fault, and forcefully teaching them that it's bad. No, now it's keep putting the burn cream on there. Make better burn cream. Give it to them for free. Give them a place to touch the stove for free. That's what I'm saying. Instead of making it painful and then allowing nature to take its course, and if they touch it till they catch fire and die, I'm sorry for being that guy. But instead of letting them touch it till they catch fire, no, we get to the point where we're pulling them away from it, fixing the issue, and then letting them do it again.
Yep.
So are you trying to say they let you keep touching the stove? Is that what you're
No, I wasn't dumb enough to touch the damn stove. I knew it was hot to begin with.
I may have to learn once. I don't remember. I know something about sticking the keys in the outlet at some point, but.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oof.
That hurts like a sumbitch.
Oh, it did. I think I was little too, and my mom was sleeping, and all I remember is the wall bit me. Ow!
That hurts like a bitch, man. Woo! Oh, and I did the my nightlight. I took the light out and turned it on and stuck my finger in there.
Oh! Damn!
Had to figure out what. Was that one of those just have to figure out what it does?
Yep.
Yes.
Hey, I saw my mom stick the keys in the car. There was a slot in the wall. Looked similar.
I'm going to start the house.
Don't do that at home,
with this discussion, we could go on with this discussion for hours, but
of course we could.
As a society, and if you disagree, post it in the comments. But as a society, I feel like our society is just going down a road where instead of making it a problem and making the problem go away by natural selection, we just keep taking care of the problem before it becomes a solution.
Well, and
that's pretty much how it used to work, right?
I'm gonna be that guy that says that thing because, and I'm gonna say it is, we have way too many warning labels on everything. Can we just stop?
Take them off.
Can we just make it so you can't sue somebody for after being stupid? I mean,
there's warning labels on coffee.
That's what leads you into the whole other part too. Is that's why half these medicines you hear, they've got 12 million side effects.
Yeah, and
it might have only happened to one person. But if they don't put it in the damn commercial,
it's gonna happen.
You'll sue them if you get diarrhea for 12 days or whatever.
Oh, God, 12 days.
I mean, how many commercials do you see for shit that we know for a fact it was a problem? Asbestos.
Oh yeah.
Asbestos.
Yeah.
Hey, you ever worked ever around here? You may have black lungs, so call us and you'll get money.
Right.
On my Facebook every day lately for like the last month, I see the double-sided earplugs that if you served in combat between 2002 and 2000 and such and such, these were defective. So call us or message us or whatever, and you might get money. It's like, seriously?
Yeah. I've been seeing those too.
It's just, lawyers have just become another form of welfare. Rather than working, I'm going to find something wrong and sue so I don't have to work.
Hey, that's just another way. Hey, I've been disabled for, because one ear rings too much. I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, you name it. But it's funny. Most of us, the funny part is there's a lot of us that go to work every day and get up and go to work that probably actually could go on to disability. I mean, I'm sure Jacob's got problems in his backs and shit from work he does. And for, 25 years of doing flooring, I've got three vertebrae that are in triangles.
I'm pretty sure your knees don't exist.
Well, I don't feel those anymore, so they kind of don't count. But my doctors told me I could, but I'd never do that because I don't know. I got a little self-pride and worth.
Well, right.
And I can still get up and go to work.
I mean, well, that was I had a neighbor that was on disability, but went to work every day with his brother to do roofing because he was blind in one eye. And that's how he was still able to get a check, but would get paid under the table to go work with his brother. And I'm like, damn. I mean, if you're disabled, you're disabled. If you're not, why are you sucking off the system?
That was one of my favorite jobs when I was repoing. The company I did work for also did. They worked for state of Ohio doing workman's comp fraud.
Oh,
and I used to be that guy in the bushes taking pictures of that assholes like that on the roof.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was that guy. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I really, every time I caught one of them, I kind of wanted to run out and go, "Got you, Dick."
Oh, that would be hilarious.
I only did it once, but
I can see that on YouTube right now.
I bet you if you search YouTube right now for workman comp fraud, you'll find a bunch of videos.
You might find a few of my videos. Whatever.
Right.
Well, but that's the same. We're talking about workman's comp, but the welfare system works the same way.
Oh yeah.
Well, you gotta be careful.
I've literally heard stories of women or families going in for welfare or for assistance. We'll call it government assistance for political correctness. And being like, well, if you're single and have 2 more kids, you'll make more money. What?
Oh, yeah. And if you can claim that you don't know who the father is, you get more money. And
even more money.
There was also the, my story was the one when my ex first had to start filing for her disability stuff because a bunch of stuff happened with her. We were in the job family services building or whatever, and there was 2 women, an older woman, her grandmother, and the mother was coaching the woman that had the kid, saying, this is what you need to say, this is what you need to do to make sure you get the most out of what you're going to do. It was like it was passed down generation to generation of, this is how you stay on the air.
Oh, you can go to Section 8 housing and see grandmother, mother, daughter, like house by house by house, like they live side by side.
Oh, nice.
Well, try getting the worst part is try getting out of welfare. I had a friend who had finally, gotten a job and found a steady babysitter who was cheap and all that. And I took her down to the welfare office so she could let him know she had gotten a job and all this. And dude, when we got back with her counselor, the chick looked at her like she was stupid for getting a job.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you got a job? You know you're going to lose all these things? And she was like, I thought that was kind of the point, was like to be a productive part of society. And they're like,
you a question.
They're like, they think you're crazy.
Let me ask you a question. Kind of like, in my mind, it's kind of like any job out there. It's like TVs. You guys realize that televisions today are built to last about 7 to 10 years, right?
Yeah, they're throwaways now. Yeah,
right.
For the most part.
Fair enough.
Cars. Once that warranty expires, they pretty much expect you to sell that piece of shit to somebody poor and you go buy a new car, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
More or less.
Kind of works the same way, in my mind. If everybody grew a backbone that was on welfare, went out and got themselves a job, they wouldn't need all these people sitting behind a desk teaching these people about what they get being on welfare, would they?
No.
No,
so it's job security for these people.
Government agents.
I mean, is it? Do you agree that it's job security to keep people on welfare for all these people that its job is to manage all these people on welfare?
Well, of course. So, well, let's be honest. Isn't the war on drugs the same thing?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's been crap for years. I mean, come on now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's create how many jobs? I mean, if they were to legalize all that, they wouldn't need all of them. I mean, obviously, you'd still have to have some because, there's still people that would do it illegally. But you could probably cut that workforce in half if a lot of the stuff was legalized.
Oh, and you would be able to clean out a lot of the prison system, too, because right now, if you look, you've got people that are serving jail sentences 10, 15, 20, 30 years for having, pot on them with bags with them as well, and then
you're opening up a big can of worms.
But then you're sitting there and you're watching these people. Who was it? What council member or somebody got freaking 4 years for having child pornography on their computer?
Yeah, I seen that.
And I'm like, wait. So a guy that has weed on him gets 10, 20, 30 years. A guy that has child pornography gets couple years.
And he'll be out in 6 months.
Right.
It depends. It depends on if they put him in general pop. Because if they do, it's going to be a long 4 years.
Well, of course. I totally agree with you there.
But you're opening a big can of worms because most, if not almost all, of prison systems today are designed as mini corporations.
Well, they're privatized.
Oh, privatized.
The government, your local community does not own their prisons anymore.
Well, but the funny thing is, though, they're actually more efficient privatized than when the government ran.
But
you're correct. They're more efficient in a way, but what the problem is they're designed that the more inmates, the more money that they get.
It's the same thing as buying something in bulk. If you can buy something more of a quantity, it's cheaper, and so the prisons will charge cheaper prices for having more inmates in to the government than if other. But they still make a ton of money on that.
But you realize that they're penalized more inside of prison for being. And I'll say what it is. For being dumbasses, they are penalized more in the prison to extend the time that they are there than they are corrected or re-educated or however you want to look at it.
Don't look at YouTube while you're talking.
to be put back into society.
Oh.
So we're not rehabilitating anybody. I mean, take it back.
I've never been. Look, a vast majority, if you go statistically, there are people in jail for stupid shit. But the vast majority of people that are in jail, especially for lengthy sentences, are, let's be honest, mostly pieces of crap and useless parts of society. Okay?
I'm not going to disagree.
Not all.
I am not.
Not all.
I am not going to disagree.
I don't give a crap about rehabilitating them. I think that rehabilitation is the dumbest shit ever. I don't think rehabilitation is that. I don't think that's what the prison. The prison system has never done that ever. Now if you're talking offenders under the age of 18, yeah, I think that whole thing should be. Those are most of those kids are probably, fixable, for a lack of a better word. Most, not all.
Right.
But if you're on your 10th stay in prison, I don't really give a shit if you get any rehabilitation because apparently you like being there.
Yeah.
At that point, I mean, and I get. And it's a long, lengthy discussion, and I get it that, you can go then with the argument, well, were they a criminal? Were they a criminal the whole time, or did prison make them a criminal?
Right.
I mean,
But I mean, being in prison, you had to be a criminal to get into prison to begin with.
Right, but and I'll argue against myself. Does the criminal system make better criminals, or does it make them better citizens?
Oh, well,
better criminals.
Well, of course.
Better criminals.
It's basically you're taking everybody. When you get in prison, you basically are around everybody, learning new things, finding out more efficient ways to do things illegally. That maybe that's why you wouldn't have gotten caught to begin with.
I know what you're talking about. Never heard that before.
Oh no.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm completely off subject.
Eamon just posted it's a giant criminal think tank.
Well, I like his post before that. We got to have someone to make license plates.
It's a good point. Good point.
You guys, you can't make Jeremy laugh by reading these comments, because then he just goes off on a laughing tangent, and we're all lost.
There's a few prisons. There's a few prisons actually growing tilapia now as well.
Yeah. And doing other different, like farming.
Yeah.
Not just fish. They're also doing regular farming.
Yeah. And then I think, and maybe that's part of the problem too. Maybe it's a lot like the mental health system. Maybe there has to be, there used to be more work farms, than prisons, where they're at, for people who were in there because, they had weed on them or they're a drunk driver or something stupid, rather than putting them all in with the murderers and rapists and people who really obviously need to be in jail. Yeah. Are some of those people, did they probably just make one mistake and then and can probably be put down a different path? Yeah. I have no problem with splitting that prison system up and going back to work farms and things like that. I mean, even, chain gangs, like what they were, but chain gangs were guys that were, not the most, usually the worst of the worst. There were people who, they wanted to get them out of the prison so they could go do something and get cheap labor, obviously.
Oh, of course.
I mean, that was a big part of it. But
that is why they do what they do now with all the prison, is because of the cheap labor.
And I think that is the problem, is that the current system is just one system, much like the mental health. Mental health, everybody gets funneled into the crazy line. No.
Yeah. Remember that discussion about drugs? Let's not do this one.
We're not going to explode the can of worms on
tonight.
This one.
Not tonight. We'll hold back.
I live this one.
No.
Well, so do I, Mike. You know I do.
I know you do.
I mean that. The only problem I have out of it is it's such a I'm trying to think of the best way. It's such a divisive subject. I mean, we could possibly tear apart a lot of things by even holding this kind of discussion.
Right.
And
we don't have that kind of time tonight, but
that's probably true. But
I mean, well, and I'll say it. Here's your little bit of a snippet. Me and Mike hold the same belief on this. I think that our discussion, or our three discussion of it, might piss some people off, and I'm trying to protect everybody else right now.
Well, and I've been through the having a autistic kid is just going through the medical system and the psychology side of it and everything. Ugh. The system needs so much work.
I'm gonna say this much about it with that, Jeremy. My wife's brother's autistic.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell there's a mental problem. I mean, it's not like he's walking, talking normal. There's a sign of it. My problem with the mental health system is when you walk in there, if you say this word, you're that. If you say this word, you're this. If you look this direction, you're under this category.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let me break
when you read their fucking book that gets changed every few years or every year to reclassify every little thing. When you read their damn book, it's the same set of criteria, just changed around a little bit on almost every single one.
Yep.
Well, and don't you think that's another? And I have to wonder, is that, when is that going to become? And well, it is. Look at the red flag laws. They're already using. You can break open that pretty little book and diagnose probably, I bet, almost everyone on this channel right now with something. I mean, let's be honest.
No. I mean, it doesn't even have to be
something.
Anything. You can take that little book and diagnose every single one of us on this feed right now.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, with probably 6 to 8 different mental health illnesses.
Well, and then the red flag laws could be used for anybody for anything at any time.
Right.
In that aspect.
Right. Well, yeah, and I with the mental health system so screwed up, I wonder how long it'll be before they just, slide that right into the gun laws too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for everybody, because they could use that book, like you said. You could diagnose any one of us with something and then deny us the right to have a gun.
How many times have you gone to your doctor and they started asking some really weird questions at the beginning?
I don't answer them.
I never answer them.
How many times have you done it? That's it right there. Like I said,
how's things going
you walk into a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a social worker, if you say the wrong damn word after a question, you're going to be schizophrenic, have PTSD, early trauma, late-based trauma.
I go with Jeremy's answer. I usually go with none ya.
Yeah, none ya.
I agree. But do you believe that the best recourse to that is to assess the situation and deal with it? Because my personal belief is I could probably be diagnosed by a psychologist with 20 different things. But I learn how to cope with it and not self-medicate or anything else.
Well, and that's doing the work. That's just, going through the work on anything of the mental aspect of when I got my divorce. I did have some anxiety going on. I went through the whole thing, and they tried to put me on pills right away. They were like, "Here, we want to put you on a daily," and I looked at them. I went, "No." I watched what that did to my ex when we were together, and how much shit she went through, and how many pills had to stack on top to cover the side effects of the first pills, and then the pills after that, and blah blah blah. No, tell me how to do the work. I'll go through the work, and screw that.
The work today, that was a few years ago. The work today is take this pill, you'll be okay.
Well, that's what they still tried on me. And I looked at them and I went, no.
That's the work today. Well, now they're going to tell you there is no way to fix it. That's what you got to remember. Look at the situation that we have right now with the Trump derangement disorder.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's going to be in their book next year. If it's not there already, it's going to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
But look at that right now. And instead of cutting the dragon off at the freaking neck, we're going to just shove a pill down your throat and it'll make you feel better. It's the same. It all ties back to the Narcan thing. Instead of shoving a needle in their leg that wakes them up from being overdosed, let them be overdosed.
Yeah.
Works for me.
Or they just keep you high and forget about you. Exactly, Jane. Yeah. Here you go. You're doing better now because you're on the medication. Well, we don't need to do anything else because you're on the medication. Screw that. I had a nice doctor that walked me through everything. You have the wrong doctor. If a doctor will feed you pills even though you tell them no, find a new doctor until you find the right one that you trust.
Before you even take a pill, get 3 different doctors to tell you to take the same damn pill.
Good luck with that. You can't get 3 damn doctors to agree on anything.
Hey, don't take the fucking pill. Sorry, we need to put not suitable for work on our screen or something, because we get into some deep shit.
It kind of went off the rails tonight, but that's all right.
It's okay. There was some other stuff I wanted to hit, but, we kind of went in a direction it was going good, so I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
We're good.
Well, but if you realize what we're talking about right now, Jeremy, what you said you wanted to bring up with the Native American and the Make America Great Again kids and all that, it's all the same thing. It's a force-fed pill down people's throat. We're going to snippet this much of a video that's this fucking long and say, look what they're doing. And people are believing it.
Well, right. And that's where...
of course.
People, are calling for these kids to be expelled from school for good. They're being... what was it? The people are asking to have their identity be revealed, and let's throw them under the bus. When if you really watch the 2-hour video, which hang on a second here, and I will post the link here on the 2-hour video. Where did it go? Hold on a second here. That you actually see at 1 hour and 12 minutes in. There is crap. I'm not on the right screen, but there is you will see the Native American actually walks up to the group of kids and is banging the drum. And at first you're like, well, what's going on? Until you pay attention to the whole video. What was it? There's another group that was there. The students were actually just waiting. They were on a field trip at D.C. They were at some thing. They were at a field trip. They were told to stand there on the steps and wait because they were going to leave at 5:30. There was another group there, the Black Hebrew Israelites, that were there, and they were preaching about, the guys with the manga hats were, the I'm going to use the F slang word for gay people, and all kinds of other stuff. And they were screaming all kinds of crazy stuff at these kids. Well, the Native American, they had just had their big thing, and he had noticed, the guy with the drum and a couple of the other people had noticed the tension that was going on between the two groups. So he came over trying to break that tension, and and he got the kids were chanting their school chant and all kinds of stuff that they do for school. And at no point was there any aggressive anything from the school kids. Right. If you actually watch the 2-hour video, you don't have to watch the whole 2-hour video. Go to a minute 12 seconds, watch from then on out. You'll notice that even the kids standing in front of the Native American with the drum, that veteran, the kid was just standing there. The guy with the drum came up to him and got this close to him. It wasn't the other way around. And the kid was just standing there, standing his ground with all of his friends, letting the guy with the drum, kind of whatever, do his thing. And even after minutes and minutes, they set up to 7-8 minutes of him doing that. Mm-hmm. One of the students that was there actually wrote a letter opening up what actually happened from their side and what they saw. And they're like, we didn't do anything. And to be yelling any kind of racial anything, we weren't doing that. That was the other group on the other side of the Indians that were doing that. Yeah. And or Native Americans. I'm sorry.
Actually, damn it, Jeremy, you ruined it.
Wait, you know what's kind of funny is that when I was in New Mexico, do you know where Native American came from?
Where?
Yeah, you would think it was something that the Native Americans came up with. No. Actually, if you go look it up, it was back in either the late 70s or early 80s. It was a bunch of white congressmen who decided that it was better to label them Native Americans than Indians. It wasn't even an Indian tribal or anything like that came up with that. That was, again, white people thinking stupid. Oh. White people thinking stupid.
Oh, boy.
So, because these guys that I spent probably, 4 or 5 weeks. A buddy of mine goes out to some of the reservations in New Mexico, and he just does, community service type work. And because he actually... when they come to Ohio, he actually has a sweat lodge at his house. So they'll come to his sweat lodge and stuff, and that's how he initially met him. And then one year he was going out there, and I went with him, and yeah, it was hilarious. So the Hopis that were out there and some of the Navajos, they thought it was hilarious that people called them Native Americans because they're like, no, we're actually just Americans and Indians. We're not Native Americans.
Yeah.
I mean, we're American Indians.
Well, I know some take of some of either, however way you want to say it, will take offense to being called Indian. So that's where
I think it's probably the same concept as the self-loathing that the white people have, apparently, from the
Wait a minute. We have white privilege and white loathing? I'm so confused anymore.
I'm going to call it what it is. I mean, if you can show proof that the first use of the word Native American came from a bunch of white people, and it wasn't from Native Americans or Indians or Navajo, Hopi.
It was Congress.
If you can show proof of that, I'm going to call for freaking white loathing. Because all I ever hear is that at some point a white guy owned a slave.
Here. I'll find it and post it in the comments of the video afterwards.
It works. All I ever hear is a white guy one day, sometime in the past owned a slave, so it's my fault. I'm supposed to loathe myself because somebody did it then.
Well, duh.
Well, here's another white guy. Self-importance. Oh, we took their land. We shouldn't call them Indians. We need to call them Native Americans because they were here first. But we fucked them years ago and took the land.
Ugh.
I mean, seriously. So we have white privilege, which I still have yet to find, but white loathing is everywhere.
I don't really always feel that privileged.
No.
I gotta be honest.
I pretty
much had to work for everything I own.
But to be perfectly honest, I've never felt self-loathing either. I mean, I don't feel it necessary to justify everybody else's ancestral bullshit because I'm white.
Yeah, and quite frankly, on my mom's side, my grandmother was born in Lebanon, and my grandfather was born in Poland. So they didn't know shit over here at any time.
True story.
So, not even their relatives, because they were not even here yet. So I'm a little confused, but it's okay. I'll have
to check my ancestry again. I'm pretty sure my family got over here not shortly before the War of 1812, I think.
See, my dad's side's a little tougher because he was adopted, so that's a little tougher for me to figure out. We know we're Scotch Irish. I think it's Scotch Irish, Dutch, and German. So yeah, I got all kinds of angry drunk people.
Oh yeah, you sound like a lot like me.
Oh yeah.
German, Irish, Scottish, Dutch.
Mm-hmm. Plus the Lebanese and Polish. So I'm all kinds of effed up.
Oh,
but yeah, I know. So I don't know on his side. I'd have to go. That part I'd have to investigate. I think my dad just took that ancestry thing, which I refuse to do. By the way.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
But I'll have to find out if he found out anything because I'd be curious to know. But yeah, as far as my mom's side, I'm only a second generation American. So I don't get none of that white privilege.
No.
I don't get the white guy check every month. Damn it.
You know what though? I don't think it matters.
All I gotta say is a coworker of mine messaged me one day and went, "Hey, check this out," and he sent me a screenshot from Ancestry.com or whatever that site is.
Yeah.
And it was a census from back in the day.
Okay.
And it had family members of his in the household. And then there was literally a Jacob Upperman that lived in their house.
Get out of here.
No lie. I mean, I still have it. I still have it on my phone. I will show it to you. I will share it to the. No lie. His family, and then my name on the. And the only thing we could figure is, like, every person that we found in my ancestry was either a blacksmith, a farmer, or a soldier. That was pretty much it. So we either figured farmhand or not paid farmhand because of when the time frame was.
Gotcha. Interesting.
But yeah, it was kind of weird. So I don't have any. Hey, maybe I'm 1/4,000
Native American.
12 bad guy. I don't know.
Oh boy.
Go get that casino.
Yeah, I should go buy that casino.
Yeah.
Wonder if I can get a 1/230,000th royalty check.
Oof. That's funny.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. No, I did mine, but I don't know. I don't think I'll ever do the DNA test just because of that's not screaming DNA database, if anything.
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
DNA data mining.
Well, actually, no. What it does is it can screw you on life insurance is what it can screw you on.
Why is that?
There's man, I'll find that article and post it too here because there was a big article. I want to say about 4 months ago. Yeah, it's probably about 4 months ago about how that actually goes into a database. And if there's like a certain history of whatever in your family, that can actually be used against you through a life insurance company.
Oh, no, thanks.
What certain history? I mean,
like if your family has
your medical history.
If you're Italian, you're going to get charged more for life insurance because you got a better chance of getting hit by the mob?
Like if like a bunch of people in your family died of cancer at the age of 60, well, if you get $1 million policy and you die early,
gotcha.
So they would charge you more under that fact. So, what's up, Brian?
It's kind of some shady shit, wouldn't you say?
Oh, it is. But
well, they said though that it's somewhere in the paperwork you sign, in the print this big, but there's somewhere in there that it actually says it. And that's what started this whole debate with these two people. And yeah, they showed everything. It was kind of. I'll find that article. I'll post both those at the end of this video.
And for those of you watching that's already done this, sucks to be you.
Well, that's like don't ever claim anything.
At a certain point, you would think people would realize that all those fucking black helicopter people and all those conspiracy theorist people, all the shit they were screaming 5 years ago is really it's starting to come true. I mean, you're starting to see it.
You mean how half the population has the CIA and bug in their house now?
Oh, you mean TV?
I mean, I'm sorry. You carry the CIA's fucking listening device in your pocket all the time.
Well,
except now you can talk. Now you can talk to it.
Well, yeah. Now you've got the what are they called? I can't even remember. The Chrome.
Alexa, Google,
yeah.
Siri.
Hey, Homeland Security.
Well, that's why smart TVs got so cheap so fast too. It's because if your TV has a camera on it, there's a good way that somebody.
Well, let's break it down to video games. Jeremy, did you ever play that Watch Dogs?
Watch Dogs. No, I don't think I ever played Watch Dogs.
The first video game, the first Watch Dogs, showed that whenever that character would hack the CTSI or whatever it was database, he could go room to room to room, and you were playing the game on an Xbox or a PlayStation in real life. Mm-hmm. So they were playing that you were playing it on an Xbox or a PlayStation with the camera.
Yeah.
Connect or the whatever PlayStation's camera's called. And you could go room to room to room to room to room to find who you were looking for, looking through those cameras.
Nice.
Oh, that's what I love. I love when you're on with customer service. Can I get into your computer?
No,
you cannot.
You know how funny it is? How many people that I have had offer to me, can you just log into my computer and fix my product? And I'm like, no. For one, no, I don't want that responsibility. Two, no.
No.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. All these, how many people have you heard in the last month complaining about conspiracy theorists or that's a conspiracy? And it's like, but the people that were screaming about the cameras turning on and watching you in your sleep on your laptop are the ones who tape over the laptop camera. You know what I mean? You call them conspiracy theorists, and then a few years later, it's been proven that they turn that camera on.
Oh yeah, and
you're like,
it's supposed
funny.
To.
Yeah, the tin hats don't seem as crazy as they used to, do they?
Well, but if it doesn't fit their narrative, if it doesn't fit the opposite team's narrative right now, then yes, the tin hats are some crazy SOB. But they're only crazy until it's proven, and then when it's proven, it's okay. I already did the DNA testing. I didn't read the fine print. I just did it. I wanted to know if I was 1/200,000th of an Indian.
Hey, Alexa, you're not listening, are you?
Yes.
Oh.
Shit.
Yeah.
It only listens when you talk to it.
No, it don't.
Yeah.
How does it know you're talking unless it's listening all the time?
I mean, there's a switch on it that you can turn the mic off. Do you really think that happens? You can also turn off your laptop, but they can turn the camera on at any time, and that's been proven.
Yeah. The same with anybody that has a smart TV with a camera on it. To do Skype, that was the whole big selling point on having the camera on your smart TV so you could do Skype with people. Oh, yeah, and the lights don't come on.
Mine might actually, never even thought, mine might actually have one. I've never used it.
You might not chances are you bought a TV and it didn't say anywhere on the box it had a damn camera, but it's got a camera.
It might be, yeah. Well, I know.
Well, I've done some shit in front of that camera. They're probably sorry about that they have it on.
They ain't sorry.
Oh.
I'm going to tell you right now, they ain't sorry.
One of these days, you're going to find yourself on YouPorn.
That's all right. I guarantee you that's already been uploaded to Pornhub or YouPorn or somewhere.
Good times.
The funny thing is there's software out there that, not that I know this personally, but I know there's software out there that gives you access to any open camera on somebody's TV or whatever it may be. So
you could see some bad stuff, I'm assuming.
Oh, I'm sure you can see some terrifying things.
I heard somebody a couple of days ago talking to somebody else. I just overheard them talking about how they couldn't believe it. People could just walk up to you and get all of your information. The RFID shit all over your car, driver's license.
Yeah.
It's like, we've been talking about this shit for like 3 years.
Yeah.
You literally go online right now and buy a wallet that has RFID blocking. Yep. And you just now figured this out?
You also should make sure that your cell phone, certain settings on your cell phone are turned off, because people can walk up and get the same RFID situation, like when you use Google Pay. Google Pay is always working. It's always trying to find a sensor, sensor, so it's always transmitting that data within a certain distance. Well, like my things at work, my vending machines at work, all I gotta do is take my phone, hold it up to the thing at work, boop, and now I can buy a pop or a sandwich or whatever I want to do. People can walk right up with their phones programmed with the right software, and boop, now they've got your all the information they need off your card.
Well, let's not get into the cell phones, because I can't remember what news division did that little test. They took 2 cell phones, brand new, both not on a cell phone plan. one in airplane mode and one not in airplane mode, but had no cell phone, no LTE information, and drove around DC. The one that did not have airplane mode on, the one that was not in airplane mode, sent less information back to the Google cloud of data mining than the one in airplane mode. The one in airplane mode sent back more information of where and what they had been doing through the whole city of DC to Google than the one not in airplane mode. And they showed all of what it was sending, and it showed where the car started, where the car stopped, when the door opened up, because it was using the accelerometer in the phone to determine what the person was doing.
Yep. If you go on Google's website, or you have a Google account, which most people do if you have an Android phone, you can actually, they have a GPS history on you, whether you use your GPS that day or not. You go back as long as you've had your phone and watch where you went that day. So, like, you know, where I went to, you know, if I went out to Sandusky, like during our Thanksgiving thing, and where I went after that, and yeah.
Oh, don't worry, guys.
I found out about a lot of that stuff by accident. Because the one, you know, when I first came back to work here, I had gotten a newer phone, and after, I don't know, it was probably like, I don't know, probably about a month or so driving, you know, back and forth here now to work.
Yeah.
You know, because I lived in Madison at that time. One morning I woke up and it said something about an accident or something, so to take this route to work instead.
Yep.
And it had the thing, and I'm like, how the F does it know where I work? Because I never put that in here. I was like, well, that's a bit creepy.
Well, that doesn't help when you have a conversation with somebody with your phone in your pocket, and then you log into Facebook, you know, on your computer. And, oh, by the way, there's that item on Amazon that you were talking about with somebody in a verbal conversation in a room. And you're like, I didn't even text that to anybody. What in the hell? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if they're not listening, if you think your phone's not listening, you're crazy. On that note, I hope you sleep good tonight.
Come back next Sunday. We'll continue talking about all the great shit that we allow to happen.
Nobody will be on their computer next week.
Nobody ever reads the terms of service, so that's how they get away with all this crap. You check OK because you want your phone to work now, not read your terms of service. Or either if you want your phone.
True story.
But anywho, thank you guys very much. Please go to heartlanddefenders.com. Again, we did put the Chronicles up. Chronicles are up. There is a new one there today on idealism versus, what was it? Realism.
Realism.
Yes. So go check that out.
There's actually a lot of changes since the last time. So if you haven't been to the website recently, make sure you get there.
Guys, don't be afraid to check it. If not every day, every other day, because there'll be new Chronicles coming out. There is news articles from all over the place on prepping advice and things in there.
And we're on Facebook. We're on Twitter.
Yes, please look us up on Facebook and Twitter. We do have apparel up on the website now as well, so please go check out a couple of T-shirts that are up there. Yes, maybe
and more to come.
Maybe
more to come.
But yes, and then we didn't play.
And I promise, guys. I promise you, when you buy a shirt from us or a decal from us, it doesn't have a GPS tracking system, so we know where you're at, what you're doing at all times.
Don't mind that little bubble in the neck. No. I know we didn't pimp it tonight, but I will real quick. Please go to motherofallrallies.com. September 28th.
Yes.
Yes.
If you go to the website, heartlanddefenders.com, you can find a very quick and easy link to the Mother of All Rallies event on the calendar there on the homepage.
Oh,
there you go.
Scroll for more and look for September.
And also you can hit events and you can see our wonderful pictures from last year's Mother of All Rallies event. You can see some of us with a few of the people there. We were doing some wonderful security stuff to help out. But yeah, go to motherofallrallies.com, check it out. Donate there as well if you don't donate at our page, so that way they can hit their goals so that they can have the event again this year, because he does not, and he stops at the exact amount of money he needs to hold the event, and that is it. He will not take any.
Yeah, he doesn't make any money on that event at all.
So yes, definitely go there, check it out. Thank you guys again for your time. Everybody watching, thank you for your time. Have a good night.
We'll see you guys next Sunday.
Enjoy your evening and be careful driving to work tomorrow if you have any issues. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.